It sounds like it's trying to do something in there.
This is the Hornet RT. It's the highest performing version of Dodge's latest SUV, and it's the only Hornet model to come as a plug-in hybrid with about 50 kilometers of all-electric range. Canadian pricing for this model from the better part of $56,000, that's before a $5,000 federal rebate stackable with $5,000 more if you're in Quebec, or $2,000 more if you're in BC. And though it's not a machine for everyone, and comes with several important strengths and weaknesses for you to consider, it does hit the mark nicely if you're in the demographic Dodge built this for, and you're looking for solid EV performance with gas hybrid backup and a lot of fun new stuff to try. So I think drivers can expect an excellent taste of all-electric driving on the daily with no range anxiety. The Hornet is built in Italy, this color is called Hot Tamale, and I've got a road test coming up for you where we'll see some of the Hornet's very best stuff, and we'll also check out the interesting technical side of this hybrid powertrain, and take a look at a few malfunctions that my early build tester encountered along the way. But for now, here's a look at charging. Okay, so here's the setup. Gas goes in here, and electricity goes in here. So over here on the left, we have the gas tank, and over there on the right, we have our battery. And so what that's showing us here on the left is we've got 230 kilometers worth of gas and 50 kilometers worth of electricity, which we can use in any way we like. So think one gas tank that you can fill up the way that you're used to, and a big battery that you can recharge to enable dozens of kilometers of all-electric driving without having to turn that fuel pump on. And remember, in this type of hybrid, plugging in is never mandatory. You only plug in when it's convenient for you to do so, and as long as there's gas in the tank, you're good to drive. So I'm using a level 2 charger on the side of my house here, and that's just wired into the electrical panel right here on the other side and plugged into the car here. With this, you're looking at about 2.5 hours to charge the battery from empty. And if you're using a standard household outlet like this one, call it overnight. So now you've got this ability to plug in, to charge up, and then your shorter drives stop using gasoline. So most of your daily errands and commuting are now 100% electric, which means you're only using gas on longer trips. And for most folks driving one of these, that means going to the gas station a few times a year instead of going to the gas station a few times a month. So there's our 50 kilometers of stored electricity down there, right? And if we come down here, we see e-drive modes on the steering wheel, just right there next to my thumb. As I click through that, you'll see the corresponding selection up there on the screen. And so in electric mode, it's telling the car that we want to use that stored electric power and drive electrically now. In e-save mode, it's telling the car to use gas hybrid power now and reserve that 50 kilometer charge for later. And if we select hybrid mode here, well, that's just fully automatic and lets the Hornet call the shots for you. And if you like to keep an eye on this sort of information or your temperatures, we've got some technical and accessory gauges we can call up here too. All of that to control and monitor this powertrain team. Up front beneath the functional extractor vents, it's a 1.3-liter turbo with 6-speed automatic and integrated starter generator that basically turns this engine into a power station and allows it to recapture and store energy while braking and boost the gas engine's performance in the process, kind of like an electric supercharger that makes its own electricity. Now, all of that stuff I just mentioned is connected exclusively to the front wheels. The rear are powered entirely by a 90 kilowatt electric motor that can deliver up to 184 pounds of torque immediately, and importantly, long before the gas engine really gets working. So punch it off the line, and the turbo engine attacks the front wheels after a moment of boost lag that you don't even notice, because that's exactly where the rear electric motor has a major torque boost, just waiting to fill in. You'll notice that torque filling effect during full throttle upshifts too, where you can hear the 6-speed automatic shifting but don't feel that slight power cut between one gear and the next, because the torque from that rear electric motor just covers it up. Working in sync, it's 288 horsepower and 383 pounds of torque at your disposal, immediately, and all enabled by technology that can take a very big bite out of your gas bill.
These metal shift paddles look like they came out of a spicy Italian supercar, and when you pull both of them at once, you call up PowerShot. This activates a 30 horsepower boost from the electric motor that's available for up to 15 seconds at a time. And other than a roughly 15-second cooldown to manage battery and motor temperatures, you can use it as often as you like.
So in sport mode, which we're using now, we've got a more aggressive regenerative braking. We're recapturing more electricity as we're slowing down. It kind of feels like you've always got a downshift. When you release the throttle, now you feel that drag as the electric motor is recapturing energy, creating electricity, helping us to recapture electricity as we're slowing down. Now to use PowerShot, we just pull both of these paddles like that at the same time. You'll see this little icon up here next to the tachometer telling us that we've got our 15 seconds with 30 additional horsepower from that rear electric motor. That should be good for 0 to 60 in about 5.6. Let's have a look. So main impression there, accelerating full throttle, lots of torque, lots of shove, but actually remarkably quiet in here. You can hear the engine. It's tastefully restrained. You get a little bit of a kind of refined growl. So to me, the overall impression here at full throttle is not the sound. It's actually that instant and abundant torque.
So let me give you some important context here. The Hornet RT is targeting a shopper demographic that's switching from cars to SUVs at an incredible rate. Almost like the flick of a switch, and that's according to Dodge, who also says that these same customers are switching into electrified products even faster. With the Hornet RT, Dodge tries to give fans of the brand an exciting new product right where they're looking for it. It's an electrified plug-in hybrid built for enthusiasts, and it targets a shopper that Dodge says buys a vehicle because of how it looks and how it makes them feel. Now, these folks make up 4 in 10 Dodge customers, about double the rate of the market average. This means that Dodge products attract enthusiast drivers at about double the rate of the market average, with many ranking power and acceleration as their third most important purchase factor.
In the wider market in general, that same factor comes in at 38th place.
So I was expecting some great stuff in the road test, but not before my tester had to go for a sleepover at the dealership to fix a few electronic problems with software updates. First, our power tailgate failed.
It won't open. It won't open. Yeah, nobody's home.
It sounds like it's trying to do something in there. This has been a
Well, this is the first time.
Yeah, it got a service power tailgate message up in the instrument cluster. Now she's not opening.
Eventually that fixed itself, but then a Powertrain malfunction arrived and earned my tester some downtime to install a software update, which dealers are now apparently installing before customer units are put on the road. So now with my early production tester's computer brain firing on all cylinders, it's time to hit the road. My main impression from the road test is that the Hornet RT gives you a lot of cool stuff to try, and make sure you're having a good time trying it. It is definitely calibrated to the sporty side of the spectrum, which means some compromises to ride comfort and noise levels, especially on rougher or more coarsely textured surfaces. Now, if that's no sweat for you, and if you want your SUV to put on a bit of a show for you, as Dodge drivers tend to, then this one starts as you slip in behind the digital dash and the giant metal shift paddles, and then look over the sculpted instrument cluster cowl that seems to draw your attention forward, and its grippy suede finish seats locking you in place beneath, and that's a variety of sporty signals coming your way before you even get your seatbelt on. I found excellent driver's seat lumbar support, by the way, firm, powerful, and also height adjustable. If you're someone who needs a good lumbar setup, then you'll probably like this one. I also appreciated my tester's use of mainly dark elements on board to help keep my focus to the instruments in the road ahead, while leaving key control zones easily accessible but minimized in the forward scenery. Big screen fans might be disappointed, but for the rest of us, I think the Hornet RT's slimmer, low-profile widescreen display will do the job just fine. Extra points for great glare mitigation and sharp responsive graphics here too. My tester's sporty low-profile tires are chosen more for handling than comfort. Again, watch those rougher surfaces for drumming up extra noise and harshness pretty readily, even if the 2-mode dampers do a pretty respectable job of filtering out the worst parts of the ride on the roughest roads where I live. Crumbling, lumpy, and winding highways are also common in this part of northern Ontario, where I found the Hornet's ride to be a lot of fun. Now the setup on my tester with the track pack is a 4-wheel independent suspension with selectable dampers on all 4 corners, and that allows you to pick between both a standard and a sport calibration at the touch of a button. With its 4-wheel independent suspension, the Hornet responds to uneven roads with an eager and lively feel, like a smaller car, but also with a stable ride that mitigates the most dramatic body movements nicely. All of that to say, if you enjoy a very good feel of what your vehicle is doing beneath you, and enjoy feeling the rhythm of the suspension working, I think you'll really like this. It's very lively. Same thing goes for the steering. In sport mode, it had me thinking of favorites like the Mini Cooper, Porsche Macan, Mazda MX-5, and others, which according to my memory banks share a steering feel that's heavy, direct, fast, and playful. That's perfect for engaging the enthusiast driver with the ability to turn very small inputs at the wheel into very big reactions from the vehicle. Running on all-electric power, there's plenty of noiseless off-the-line snap with no gears shifting, and I was pleasantly surprised by the Hornet's responsiveness in EV mode, where you've got plenty of pedal and plenty of response up to highway speeds and beyond, even on hills. As plug-in hybrids go, this electric motor seems very powerful. It's a joy to use in traffic. But you will want sport mode for maximum performance. Now the instrument cluster display adapts, the engine fires up and stays running. That's to help sustain the battery pack and deliver maximum system power. To me, the biggest surprise and most impressive part of the performance overall was that initial hit of electric torque off the line, even before the gas engine gets breathing to pick things up from there. It's a lot of thrust with very little noise or vibration, and since that gas engine sustains the battery in sport mode, performance is consistent regardless of whether or not you've recently plugged in. The brakes are powerful and inspired a confident, drama-free highway speed emergency stop to let a family of moose cross the 4-lane. I wish I'd had a camera rolling so I could show you. So though I do wish they felt a bit more precise, responsive, and easy to work smoothly in traffic with light pedal inputs, I can promise you the Hornet RT's brakes really feel like they have your back in emergency stops. So when it comes to the Hornet's drive, I think the key strengths lie more in reflexes and feel than comfort and noise levels. Though the all-electric drive mode with generous range and plenty of available power can bring a new, noiseless, all-electric driving experience to your daily drive too. But is it roomy enough?
You can probably tell by looking at this from the outside, the main reason to buy a Dodge Hornet is not going to be the interior space. It is a little bit snug in here. You're going to like that if you're coming here from a sports car. What you wanted was something smaller or on the sporty side. Let's see how that all pans out around me here. In terms of knee room, a little bit compressed with the center console kind of widening out this way. So I'm resting my knee on the side of this a lot. Fairly logical control layout here. We've got the widescreen up there, shifter down here, volume control beside that, push to power the infotainment system on and off, parking brake here, supplemental controls for our traction and parking systems down there, and just a conventional shifter, these great big giant metal shift paddles on the steering wheel. I don't know if you can hear that.
That's a metal.
That's made out of actual solid metal. Like, these things are sturdy. Headroom a little bit tight, feeling just slightly claustrophobic. I've got a couple fingers worth of headroom above me here at about 5'10". Wireless charging slot down here for your phone. Nice little cubby there, keeps that out of the way. Got 2 USB charging ports there, both styles if we like. 12-volt outlet here. You do have this suede texture here on the seats that's grippy. It holds you in place. But keep in mind, getting in and out, sliding on and off of these seats, they're quite grippy. So if you're someone that likes to sort of slide in and out easily on a smooth leather seat, that's not what you're going to get here. You're commonly going to get in and then sort of have to shift yourself around a little bit. The suede surface will grab at your clothes a little bit as you're trying to slide over top of it. But try it now, like, just in terms of this versus getting into like leather.
Oh yeah, there's like, it's grippy.
It's quite like, so now you're sitting down comfortably, but you're probably going to have to adjust your shirt and your shorts.
Yeah.
To fit comfortably, right?
You're right. I have to like adjust my shirt because when you sit in, it just rides my shirt up, whatever. But
yeah, with leather, you just slide on and off. With this suede texture here, it's a little bit grippier. So just something to be aware of. Watch me getting in right on this spot. Quite a need to duck your head if you're my height. You can see I've almost got contact there. So if you're a 5'10" guy like me, you are gonna have to just be pretty careful to clear your head getting in there. Okay, so first impression back here, legroom is adequate. 2 pouches, one on the back of each seat. 2 more USB ports there in both styles. Not a flat rear floor. Yeah, it is a little claustrophobic if you're a 5'10" guy back here, I would say.
And you do get an armrest, so that's a plus.
But look at the size of the arm. Like, look
Oh.
at the, see what I mean?
It's a little short.
You can kind of have a cup holder or an armrest, but if you're kind of a...
Oh, yeah, you're right.
See what I mean? Like, it is definitely compact back here. A little bit short on headroom. Armrest is nice. Cup holders are nice, but you can't use both at the same time. Because where's my arm going to go if this is down?
Yeah.
The other thing, I want to see if you feel it, is that there is this sort of lump, right? We've got the leather here, and then the suede here, and there's a bit of a step, just about as thick as my finger. And I can feel that in my lower back and butt. I'm going to get you to sit back here and see if you feel the same thing.
Okay. So you want me to sit in this chair to see if I feel this, right?
Yeah, like...
So you want my assessment.
You feel that?
It's just there?
Like, just there, but it's still there.
It's a little weird thing right there.
It feels like I'm sitting on, you know, like a small rolled up shirt or some tiny object.
Yeah, like I'm feeling like, oh, my seatbelt's back there or something.
Yeah,
or
you feel like there's just this little something behind your butt in those seats. Pretty tight.
Because of the sunroof, it goes down. There's a bulkhead here,
You got that lump there.
and then it comes back up for my head.
But you are, let's say, 5'10", 5'9", 5'10", just about the same as me. And can you show us how much room you've got above now that I got a camera? Yeah.
Like I can put my fist above my head.
But I mean, like...
But oh no, half my fist.
Yeah.
Half my fist.
Like if you're 6 feet tall, trying to sit back here, you're going to be in that ceiling, I'm pretty sure. Just follow my hand here. This is down. This goes up for your head.
And I'm glad they didn't put a handle here.
Yeah.
Cause this, like, it would be touching my eyeball.
Yeah, you just about don't have room for it. So that's what it looks like with two, shall we say, average-sized adults sitting back here.
My seat's further back just so I'm more comfortable in the front. But just to show you, I don't know if I'm all the way back, but
Yeah,
I got a finger in between.
Yeah. So could you fit 4 adults in here? Yes, but you definitely want to keep the back seats for the shortest ones you've got.
Let's hit the road again one more time in the dark for a look at the Hornet RT's headlights. And they are just what I was expecting for the money, and that's a very good thing. You've got solid spotlighting just ahead of the vehicle, strong illumination across 4 lanes of traffic, and especially into the right-hand culvert on this smooth stretch of dark highway between Sudbury and Chelmsford, Ontario, where close calls with wildlife over the years seem to come my way at a disproportionately high rate. I'm very careful driving everywhere, but I'm probably even a little more careful here. The performance of headlights like these can help you to be more careful with less stress, because it's easier for your eyes to gather solid information about the environment around you without straining. These same headlights on this same highway just a few days earlier provided a precious extra moment of emergency braking by revealing 3 moose at the edge of the beam pattern crossing the road with their mom. From Sudbury, Ontario, I'm Justin Pritchard. Drive safe out there, and keep those eyes up.